Hello world, my name is Alexandr Korol. I am a writer. I'm making my third video for you to get to know me as an author. Yes, these are videos from me as an author of books. In the first two videos, I talked about how I write books, how I work on them, and how I convey information to people in three parallels. That there is the world of the heart, the world of the mind, and the world of the spirit. I also put a lot of emphasis on the fact that you should not lose the sight of boundary of what I am and what is curated from my novel Alternative History, because the novel is written in an author's style, in a technique. So when you read it, you think that it is addressed directly to you, as if you were reading a letter that you received as a message to your phone. And when you read it, it seems to you that I am already your friend. You want to reply to me, to ask something, but in fact you just fall into a trap that captures your attention, and it's just an author's trick. It's just the novel in the first person. Yes, that's how it works. So I repeat once again, don't lose sight of a fine line. There is a fairy tale and there is reality. My name is Alexandr. I'm a writer. Hello. And this is the third video in which I want to once again correctly guide all my readers, old and new, on how to navigate through my books, how to get acquainted with my work, and how to interact with me in general as an author. I understand that you have questions. I will now try to guess what questions you have, and I will try to answer them in this third video. You probably have a question about what inspires me. I'm inspired, and I cope with this large volume of books due to my specific way of life. It is really specific. If I will often meet people, if I'd often go on social networks, if I lead such a human ordinary lifestyle, then I will lose inspiration. I will lose inspiration, can you imagine? I've tested it. There is no way I can live that way. I'm a very sensitive person, and I have inspiration and a certain lifestyle. I have the right sleep schedule, the right diet, solitude. That is, I'm not attached to anything. I'm not attached to anyone. That is, I am often alone. I often have my phone turned off. I can stay home alone for months. That's the only way I can write so many books. That is, this is hard, serious work, and I feel incredible happiness from it. I mean, if I hadn't found myself in a writer's life, I don't really know who I would have been or what I would have done. And it is an incredible happiness. And for me, it doesn't matter what is happening outside, it doesn't matter what century or year it is, what is happening there. Because when you are passionate, as enthusiastic and involved in your creative work, in your creative activity, then you kind of live in your own world and there is no other world. And perhaps because of events that have been going on in the world over the past 3 years, writing is sort of a shelter for me. And I went even deeper into writing books. Earlier, I used to write a maximum of 2 books a year. And now I was able to create 10 books, and to be honest, it's probably a kind of escape from reality. And when I'm working on a book alone, I feel incredible happiness, incredible warmth. I'm in some kind of magic. And now, of course, I have holidays, But after the holidays, I will go back to my creativity, writing, and my world, and I will continue to work in my books. And I'm happy there, and I live there more than in the reality that many people live in. Probably those people who are artists, those who are creative people will agree with me and understand. And you probably experience the same thing and you live in the way I described. I don't know. But those creative people that I have met, especially musicians, they are the same. They have few friends, few acquaintances, their phones are turned off, they log themselves in a studio, they don't want extra attention, and they are creating incredible cosmic music. And those people who straddle, that is, they want to be with people every day, in everyday life, and with friends and in social networks, and then at the same time they are still trying to write music, then many people lose this inspiration. I remember many people even wrote to me saying, Alexander, what do I do? My talent just disappeared. Inspiration disappeared. Where do you get it? What is your source? I gave an answer later in the books to all of you, to all creative people, that the secret of all of it is where your attention is and your way of life. I wouldn't be able to write such a large volume of books if I watched funny videos on social media, liked or read messages or watched movies or went to the cinema. If I lived that lifestyle, I wouldn't be a writer. This is the first thing that you should take note of, I think, so that you don't get upset. Why am I so unavailable? It's not because I don't want to talk to you. I really want to. I would like to give an answer to everyone, to pay attention to each of you. But please understand, there are many of you, and there is just so little of me. Please appreciate at least the possibility that there are a lot of me in my books, and they are freely available to download. When you read them, you're much more in touch with me, much more. What other question you might have? I know that a lot of people are trying to trap other people by asking them on which side you are. Are you for this religion or for that? Are you for this state or for that? Are you for these people or for other people? I understand that you would like me to choose one side because you are all now defining each other, who is on which side, but I don't have such a thing as being on one side. That is, those ones who have already read my novel Alternative History, or those who are still reading it, those who have watched the video dedicated to alternative history where I talk about the Matrix, then I choose this position of the eighth corner. That is, I'm kind of in a neutral zone, and I try to look at all the events in a philosophical way, wisely, with understanding, as a kind of natural phenomena, as something inevitable. I am a person of faith, of course. Now some atheists will say that there is no God. I am not a religious fanatic, but I just understand that there is someone is looking after it all. Or there is someone up there above. And everyone calls it the way they like. Angels, aliens, or secret families, or the God, or people from the future. But I assume that there is something or someone like this. And if they wanted to harm us, they would have destroyed us long ago. And so I believe that everything that happens is for the best. No matter how hard or difficult it is in some periods of life. And naturally, I am against violence and aggression, And it is terrible that in the 21st century that this could still happen. In our seemingly civilized time, there are people who can still be in some kind of conflicts. I believe that we are already wise, mature people who are always able to come to an agreement. I believe that it is always necessary to come to an agreement and resolve arguments through dialogue and not through physical violence. And if you are interested in my position, I'm sure that everyone will want to define me to one side or another. I am in favor of no evil, no violence, and of respect to each other. And those people who are now aggressive towards any nation, then this is also unacceptable for me, because I believe that the main thing is to be a human, no matter what color of skin you are and what religion you are. That is, the main thing is to be a human being. And I believe that there are such people everywhere, in any country and in any city. There are people who deserve respect and who are well-mannered, who are good, honest. So I don't have this unconscious, emotional, aggressive view of anyone's side. I don't have such thing, and please don't try to persuade me to choose side. And you won't succeed either, because I'm not on social media. You can, of course, try to explain something to me, hint at something, write somewhere, but those messages won't be read. This is not because I don't want to talk to you, it's just that I am distracted by it. I'll lose inspiration. I won't have time to write new books, you know. I am very economical with my time and with my focus that I give to anyone or anything, to any activity. So please, let's have a mutual understanding. Let's be kind to one another. What other questions you may have? Well, of course, someone will think that I am someone's project. But if someone would really need me, you need to understand that I don't have any acquaintances at the moment. I used to have them a while back when I was young. I went underground since the beginning of the pandemic to hide from people's panic. So, as not to lose inspiration and write books, now I have no connections and no contacts with anyone, even with ordinary people, let alone with some cool people. So, don't worry. If I were a project, I would have probably have expensive videos with special effects, and everything probably would be more global and on large scale. And now only few people watch my videos because there are a lot of bloggers, there are a lot of these people who are trying to hijack your attention on the internet. There are, of course, talented people, but there are those who just want to cash in. But it's their choice, their business, their rights. So if you think logically, look at how this video was filmed and how it looks and how I look. And if someone was behind me, probably I would even look and talk very differently now. And probably I would be in a studio and all sorts of celebrities would interview me, but nobody is interested in me at all. And I don't even know how to get there. I mean, I kind of theoretically know that there are these frequencies, and there is the world of famous people. There are all sort of celebrities. This is such a different world altogether. It's a completely unknown world for me, where you always have to go to some social events with them, be friends with everyone, to communicate with everyone, and I so rarely go out in public, so I don't have such acquaintances. So who may have had some thoughts of a conspiracy there? Then here I am. I gave you an answer to the question. What other questions you might have? Well, so that you understand that the work of any artist should be treated with respect. And even if a person is an artist and had made three brushstrokes on a canvas and you don't like it, you don't need to scold him for it. You can pass it by because each person has his own taste, his own choice. Some of you may like it, some might like three brushstrokes, and the same with my books. That is, yes, I really admit it, I don't know how to write beautifully. I don't know how to make fiction. I don't have that team of professional people who could do it commercially. That is, I'm more of a creative person. And so I make great efforts to make the book look beautiful, so it would be printed, published somewhere. But my task is to go into my cosmic state, and from the angle from which I see the world, share information in my books. And those people who look at the world and see the world from the same angle, they like my books. But obviously, there are different angles. And if you are looking from a different angle, well, I admit the fact, I even have a book about it. That is, you can see it all from a different angle, and there is the angle that you're all at. There is a completely different music and movies. You have different desires and preferences, and if you don't like my angle of perception, well, I'm not saying that your angle is bad and mine is good. They're just different. We're different people, and especially artists. They are also different. Some like one genre of music, some like another. I have my own specific underground genre. And there is a small audience of readers who like it. Well, it's great that they exist. Of course, a lot of people told me that if I would write a little differently, well, if I would approach this commercially, and if I also would approach making videos commercially, then I would have more fans. But it won't be real, and it won't be alive anymore. And I'm not some kind of commercial project, but a real creative writer. I'd rather be poor and not known and not famous, but my books will be real. And as I see them, so I'm writing my books exactly the same way. What else? What other questions you might have? What questions may arise? About my information in the books? There are a lot of people who believe that this information is not new. Someone wants to argue and say that my information is incorrect, but I am an artist. How can you argue with an artist that his brushstroke should be done differently? So if you think that I don't see the world in the right way, well, okay, so we have different perspectives. We have different visions. I see it in this way. Imagine there are people who see everything in black and white. Some see the world that is full of evil and hatred. Some see the world full of beauty and kind people. Everyone lives in a different world. There are different strata of society. Everyone has different view, different perceptions, and I have my own too. I didn't choose it. I don't know why I was born this way. I believe that the most important thing is to be yourself. Would I be happy if I wrote a book for your point of view? If I would write it for the masses? Yes, you'd love me, and there would be a lot of you, not as many as you are now, but a lot more. But I'd feel like I've betrayed myself. So I write knowing, of course, and understanding that someone won't like this phrase or that statement or this story. I understand that it will hurt a lot of people or put them off, but I can't take it away. It's me. It's a part of me. I am real, and I just turn a blind eye on the fact that I'll get a lot of hate because of some statement in my books, but the book will be real. Imagine if I would adapt it to your taste, the whole world is already adjusting to people. And everything is already plastic, everything has already become fake. And I'd rather get a slap on the head from people, that is, get all the hatred when someone disagrees with me, but my work will remain real. But I'm actually pleased with it because it's real. And it's nice that I've written a book that you have a reaction on. Who needs falseness? I am just for real things, for genuineness. That's why when I was working on my novel Alternative History, I felt those moments where because of some paragraphs there will be a lot of negativity, and I thought, come what may, I leave it as it is and I will be real. And even mistakes, I see, let's say that some word is repeated, some letters or something I said or wrote with a mistake, I will not correct it. The main thing is that the book is real. So if you suddenly notice some kind of mistake somewhere in the videos or in the book, the word is wrong, then this is all me. Yes, I'm a mistake. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.